find some sort of harmony and balance. Ladies and gentlemen, what's up? This is BC. Now, let's talk about the F word, frustration. Frustration. Lately, I've been frustrated with a lot of shit. And unlike what you may think, I'm not immune to a lot of the traditional and classic human conditions that you guys deal with. I just respond to them differently. I've evolved and I've grown to take the same conditions that stop people, cripple them, or annihilate them, and I've turned them into superpowers or simple things that I just step over and normal obstacles that I can handle as if they're not a big deal. So let's talk about that today specifically, okay? So lately, I've been super fucking frustrated with calisthenics. I feel like my strength gains have plateaued, and don't get me wrong, I've made tremendous progress over the last almost 2 years when it comes to calisthenics. However, I'm working my ass off and I'm like, man, like, certain plateaus, like, fuck, like what's going on here, right? And even today when I worked out, we cut the workout a little bit short with my trainer and I was just overwhelmingly in this mood and frustrated. So again, unlike what you guys think, I still have my moments of, tossing stuff around, punching the wall and being a little bit upset. It's totally normal, okay? And I wanted to voice that to you because I, as much as you think I don't, go through the same shit that you go through, okay? So let's talk about it. Well, how do we effectively navigate this typical human condition and do something good with it, okay? So let's do this. When you look at the scope of even today, right? We start working out, I start hitting this frustration 10, 15 minutes into the workout. For probably 10, 15, 20 minutes after that, I went through the same crap that most people go through. Not being in a good mood, blah, 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 right? I'm not gonna bore you with that stuff. But immediately with my trainer, I shifted the conversation towards, okay, what can we do? We've hit a wall. I've hit a wall, I'm getting upset. It's making me, even from an emotional standpoint, not wanna do this anymore. Obviously quitting is off the table, right? I'm never gonna quit, we know that. This is just a temporary, flustered feeling and little spike of emotions, okay? We'll leave it at that. What are we gonna do? Immediately, right? So let's start with that. Point one is this. Your attention and your thoughts go from focusing on the frustration to immediately asking the question of what can change and what is a potential solution. That is step one. Because the emotions are gonna be the emotions. I was still flustered and I told myself, you know what? When I go to the sauna after, I'm gonna smile, I'm gonna laugh it off, and then when I walk out of the sauna, it's over, which is another technique that we'll talk about here at the end of the podcast or a little bit later, okay? But the first one is this. How can I take the thoughts and immediate focus towards a solution? So we started rapping back and forth, me and my trainer, right, boss? Shout out to him. You've seen him on the podcast here. You've seen him on the channel. If you follow me on social media, you've seen me share him and you know who he is and you're familiar with him, right? Let's focus on a solution. That's what we started going towards. So we immediately start putting our heads together and okay, we can change this with the workouts. We can change this. Okay, the intensity here needs to go down. Okay, maybe we need to do a complete week off that like you've never done because you're so fucking intense. Let's start to put a magnifying glass on the strategy and what we're doing now and what we currently have on paper and see what adjustments we can make and what can be improved upon. Because the effort and the consistency isn't in question. Now it's just a matter of tweaking because everything evolves and everything is dynamic. Nothing is static. The same thing that worked and got you the progress last week, again, the human body adapts. It's smart. It gets used to it. It's not going to respond to the same stimulus. We need to make adjustments. Cool. So that was step one. Immediately do that. Number two, the emotion. How do we start using this emotion properly? Well, for sure, I vented it into the rest of the workout, and that's why I went super hard. But the emotion is the emotion. Now, this is the key. When it comes to these, especially what we deem as uncomfortable or negative emotions, the mistake that we make is we want to run away from it. You know what I did? I sat in it. I sat in that frustration. I sat in that anger. I sat in that resentment. I didn't think about it. I sat in it. Why? When you want emotion to go away, you don't resist it. You embrace it. What you embrace will erase. What you resist will persist. Remember that. I came up with that quote a long time ago. Again, if I learned it from somebody, I'd give them credit. But to my knowledge, I kind of came up with that rhyme scheme, right? What you resist will persist. What you embrace will erase. I sat in it. And this key is, this number 2 is not easy for people. Why? You don't want to feel these emotions. You want to run away from them. You want to push them away. You want to hug the positive ones and happy ones, but you want to push away the in quotes, bad ones. You can't do that, because to the degree that you hug the good, you're going to hug the bad. You're not aware of that dynamic. They're two sides of the same coin, my friends. So what did I do? I sat in it. I sat in it. I sat in my pity party. I sat in my frustration. I sat in my anger. And you know what started to happen? It started to dissipate. By the end of the workout and me going into the sauna, it was gone. I had completely shed it. I walked out of the gym with a smile on my face. Less than an hour later, done. That's it. I'm not carrying it with me now. I'm not thinking about it. It's over. But to get people to effectively be able to sit with an emotion is tough. This is very similar to when you're at an appointment, like for a lot of the salespeople and realtors who follow me. When you drop that bomb on that client about what their home is worth, a lot of times emotions come up. And this is why you need to be patient with them, because you effectively have to talk them through and let them sit through the emotion. Why? Because eventually it dissipates. It's not going to stay strong and intense forever. But what do? We resist it. That's why it sticks. You fight it. You make it more real and you make it more intense by fighting it. When you sit in it, when you bask in it, when you swim in it, when you drown yourself in it, it starts to go away. It starts to lose its power over you. It starts to de-intensify. It starts to go away. You start to relax. And guess what? Suddenly, you're not as frustrated or upset or mad or angry anymore. You start to feel better. It starts to loosen its grip on you, and eventually it fades away. And that second one is key. The second one is a testament of emotional intelligence and maturity, for sure. Because temporarily, you're not going to feel good. Just like right now, I'm shooting this podcast and I've been doing some stuff here at the office. I'm ravenously hungry right now because after that workout that I'm talking about here, I haven't eaten yet. I took my little herbal supplement that I've been doing for my stomach every once in a while, right? Just to make sure everything is good. And my stomach is rumbling. I am hungry right now, and I'm probably not going to eat for another hour and a half or 2 hours, but I'm sitting in it. I'm okay with it. It's all right. I've done this millions of times. This is not the first time that I'm doing this, right? Is it a comfortable feeling? Not necessarily, but I'm doing it anyway. And this one is huge, y'all. This one is huge. So I want to touch now real quick, this third point, on what I mentioned earlier about this giving myself a command. I said, I'll give myself the time now to have the pity party and complain and be a little bitch, basically. But I said, the moment I enter the sauna and I spend my 10 or 15 minutes in there, when I walk out, it's done. Let go what you need to let go. Scream if you want to, bitch and moan. But the moment I walk out of the sauna, it is over. It's done. The weight of it is off my shoulders. It's out of my head. It's out of my thoughts, and it is gone. I give myself a command. So from that moment on to me getting in the sauna and leaving was probably 20 or 30 minutes. So I gave myself that permission for 20 or 30 minutes to what I call in coin, be a little bitch. And I didn't even really do much. But by the time I was in the sauna, a couple minutes in, it was already gone. But I gave myself that window. The key here is I took that into my own hands, that mechanism, gave myself a command, and I honored it. I said, you know what? Complain a little bit, but here in a little bit, it's over. Get it out of your system, shake it off, scream, whatever. That's it. It's done. We moved on. It's out of my head. So besides me bringing it up here for the podcast, it is now out of my head. I'm not thinking about it anymore. I'm not dwelling on it about it anymore. I'm not bitching about the workout. It's done. It's over. Hands wiped clean. Now, when it comes to your own evolution as a human being, dealing with frustration, which we all will, and being able to take these things that emotionally just have a grip on people, and it's in and it's out, and it's this is what makes me consistent. This is what keeps me motivated all the time. And this is one of many things that many of you come to me for, asking the answers for, that I've developed, that I could teach you if you become a student, that make me effective and allow me to do the things that you look at and say, wow, how does he keep doing that every day, every week, every month, every year? You see? But what I'm describing here, I gave you a few points to work with. It's not just going to suddenly happen from listening to a podcast. You have to learn and develop and unlock so many things within you that now this activity that I gave you becomes easy. And a lot of people hit that wall because they fail to take their inner development to the level that they need to. And that is what requires you to be a student and dedicate yourself day in and day out. There's no days off when it comes to your personal development for those of you who are dedicated to doing it. And I love hanging my hat on that, because for those of you who do decide to become students and step up, this will transform every single thing about you, because what I talked about today is what allows people to either be fulfilled and live a life that others are envious of, or be the average Joe and average sap out there who just is out on their luck, bitching and complaining, is not happy, and is never satisfied. Because this mechanism that I talked about today, the vast majority of the planet will never master. Now, as good as I am with it, I don't think I've mastered it, and I'm still working at it. And I see the people around me evolving and getting much better at it. And to get the feedback from them and see the results that it's given them in their lives is awe-inspiring. It really is. I'm bringing this up here at the end because this is of utmost importance, ladies and gentlemen. This is much more important than grabbing a new script or this or that many of you are focused on. You're focused on shit that should be third or fourth or fifth on your list, not number one. Things like this need to be number one if you really want to become that version of you that makes six figures, multiple six figures, is happy, great communicator, and all the things that you want to check off that list, that you dream of, that you fantasize about. You got to start taking this shit a lot more serious, okay? So we'll end it here. If you guys want to reach out to me about Real, again, congratulations to Real for surpassing 12,000 agents. Let's chat. I brought on a lot of people recently. I think we're onboarding about 30 people at the moment into my network. If you want to check out my courses and coaching and you do actually want to step up and become a student, you can set up a strategy call to discuss it further, or you can go to bryancasella.com and check out all the stuff we have to offer there. Okay, that's it for this one, guys. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.